The Parrot Refactoring Kata is a small, fun exercise that you can use to improve your programming skills. I talked about it in a previous video, encouraging you to try it out. And today I'd like to show you one way to solve it, in C# using Rider. And there are plenty of other good tools and ways to solve this kata. Perhaps you've done it a different way. But the point is to learn about refactoring and software design. There aren't actually any wrong answers. Well, unless you break the tests, we're going to try and avoid that today. So this is the starting position for the Parrot Refactoring Kata. We've got this class Parrot, and it's got a method GETSPEED with a switch statement switching on type of Parrot. And then if we scroll a little bit further, there's actually another method that looks quite similar. GETCRY also has a switch statement switching on type. So that's the code smell that we've got in this class. We've got repeated switches and switching on type code. And it's a sign that this class might benefit from some polymorphism, some inheritance. So we're going to actually move to a design where we've got 3 subclasses instead of these switch statements that will use polymorphism to change the behavior. So we've also got some test cases here, and there's quite a few of them, and they cover the functionality fairly well. So I'll just check they're all passing. Yeah. So yeah, everything's ready for us to start doing some refactoring. Now the first refactoring is to switch this constructor and change it to a factory method. And my tool can help me with that. Constructor to factory method. It's all built in here. So I'm going to name my new factory method create parrot, and it does the work for me. There we go. I've got it now, and it's marked the original constructor as private, and it's updated all of the places where I was calling the constructor to use my new factory method. So this is looking quite hopeful, and let's just run the tests. Yeah, everything looks good. Okay, so I'm going to add a switch statement here because I still need a switch statement even in the final solution because I need to be able to construct my various subclasses. So I'm switching on the type that's been passed to this factory method, and at the moment that switch statement is not doing anything, but I'd actually like each branch of the switch to construct a different type of parrot, a different subclass. So let's prepare for that. So I'm just going to move this code around a bit, introduce a variable for the parrot to return, and here if I split the declaration initialization, then I've got a line of code here which I can copy into each branch of the switch. So at the moment I'm going to construct the same parrot instance whichever switch branch I go into, but it creates a kind of scaffolding. The tests are all still passing, and this is probably a good moment for a commit. I'm going to write a commit message here. This was replace constructor with factory method, and that R at the front there, that's Arlo's commit notation, referring to the fact I've done a refactoring that wasn't entirely automated, so capital R. Okay. So now I'm probably ready to start adding some of these subclasses. So here in the first branch of the switch, when it's a European parrot type enum, let's construct a European parrot. So my tool can help me create that type, and it knows that it should inherit from parrot, and it's passed all the right arguments that I had before. Don't need that not implemented exception, but it's still concerned about something. There's something going on here. It's worried about the constructor in parrot. Oh yeah, it's private. Right, that needs to be protected so that my subclass can call it. And actually now my tool should be able to help me to put that call in. Yeah, so a call to the base initializer. And that will of course need arguments. The first argument being the type, and this is a European parrot. So let's just put that in. And the other arguments, I'm just going to pass them through from what I was passed originally. Okay, that looks like it should work. Tests are passing. So let's just remove that redundant parameter. The type here, I know it's a European parrot, so I don't need to pass that to it. And it's probably a good idea to put this in its own file. It's good to have classes in individual files. So that was all looking good. Test still passing. Let's make a commit. So we've added the European parrot subclass, and that was another refactoring. Going to be a lot of refactorings in this. Okay, so we've got our European parrot set up now in the factory method. So let's actually add the African parrot. So this is going to be the same. It's actually created the class with the right arguments, the constructor. It didn't fix the call to the base class though, still, even though it's protected now. So let's just add that code. It's not too complicated. The first argument for the type, right, I know this is an African parrot, and the other ones I'll just pass through. Kind of strange arguments really, but we'll come back to them. And then the type there is redundant, so let's remove that and move this to its own file. Cool, and run the tests. Of course, that'll run the compiler as well, so I think most of those errors would have been caught by the compiler. But it's good to have tests too. So let's just write a message there. We've added the African parrot subclass. It's another refactoring, capital R. And there we go. Now we've got two subclasses. Wrong switch statement. Let's go and look at the right one here in the, here we go. We want to create a Norwegian blue parrot here. And again, it's not quite managed to set up the constructor correctly with the call to the superclass. So I just got to put that code in. And I'll take the opportunity here. Again, I know what type this is. This is a Norwegian blue. And the other arguments are just passed. So other tools at other times might have fixed this better for me, but you know, I have to know what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for subclasses, each in their own independent files and with reasonable arguments. Okay, and then a commit. It's good to make lots of small commits frequently so that you can always back up if you do make a mistake and you've got a good record of what you've done. It's easier for whoever's reviewing your changes, I think, to get lots of small commits with good messages. Right, so now I've got 3 subclasses. So what's next? Okay, it's probably time to push this GETSPEED method down into the subclasses. So again, that's one of the refactorings my tool offers me. Push members down, and it asks me, well, which classes do you want to move it down to? And yeah, all of them. And the GETSPEED should be pushed down, and I don't think I'm going to do GETCRY yet. I'll do them one at a time. So, it's warning me that there might be a problem, that it can't update all the usages correctly. Maybe there was something I missed here, because I thought it would be able to do that for me. So just go back a minute. Now, what if I make that abstract in the superclass? Maybe that's going to make it be a bit happier. So, yeah, it's warning me that it's going to have to extend the access rights for all of that stuff, but all of the usages seem to be okay. So I'm not too worried about widening access rights. It's going to have to make everything protected, I think. Yeah, but it managed to do that. There we go. It's now got an abstract GETSPEED method. My tests are still passing. And if I go to all my subclasses, there we go. There's my GETSPEED in each of the subclasses. So my tool really helped me there, but there's quite a lot of changes there. So I'm just going to actually make that into a commit. And this time though, I'm going to use the small r for an automated refactoring. I've pushed down GETSPEED to the subclasses. Okay, and let's see. Now, here I am in the European parrot. So actually, I know this is definitely a European parrot. So I'm just going to use a little trick here. If I tell the switch statement, look, this is definitely a European parrot, suddenly you see all that code went grey? It's unreachable. So my tool can now help me to remove that redundant code. And actually, I found the simplest way to do it is to say, look, convert this to an if statement. And then when I ask it to remove the unreachable code, it just gets rid of all of it. And I'm just left with a kind of meaningless if statement. If this is the same as this, it's definitely European. And it can also help with that. Replace the if statement with the respective branch. And there we go. That's all that the European parrot does. It doesn't need the rest of the switch statement. So let's make a commit to celebrate. This was all pretty automated. I'm going to use a small r. Strictly speaking, I did actually have to type something, but I think it was really safe. So I'm going to put a small r on that one. Do you like the demo so far? Please remember to actually like the video and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so the African parrot, I should be able to do the same thing here. This one is definitely an African parrot, so I'll put that in the switch statement there. Oops, fat-fingered that. That's right, that's better. And now, of course, the switch statements that aren't reachable have gone grey. And again, I'm going to convert this to if statements, and then hopefully my tool will be able to remove the ones that are meaningless. So what I want here is actually, it's very sensitive to where you put the cursor. I'm going to put the cursor actually in the if statement, and then it can remove it for me. The same with this one. I've got to get the cursor in the right place. Remove unreachable code. There we go. And then I can replace this with true, or actually even more easily replace with the respective branch. So there we go. That's the logic for the African parrot. It's just like one line of code per subclass. And I know in a real system it would probably be more than that. But hey, this is showing you the principle of how to do the refactoring. So again, I've removed redundant code in this refactoring. Same, Norwegian blue. So that's the only bit of typing I needed to do, just replacing what I'm switching on with a constant. And then convert it to if statements, and oh yes, I have to get the cursor in the right place, and then it will let me remove the if statements. Remove that one too. This if statement doesn't get removed, it gets replaced with the respective branch, and then we remove the unreachable code. So yeah, this is looking good. Test passing. Time for a commit. Making good progress here with the polymorphism. GETSPEED is polymorphic, and each subclass is quite small implementation compared with what it was. So I'm feeling quite pleased with that. I just need to do the GETCRY as well. So again, I can use my tool to push it down, and there we go, it's selected GETCRY, and this time I'll remember to make it abstract. That seemed to work better. And there we go, it did it. And the tests are still passing. Okay, so then it's just the cleanup operations. I'm not sure oh yes, I should make a commit first before doing all that, because this was an automated refactoring that was impacted several files, so it's worth putting that in its own commit. But now I've got the cleanup operation. So European parrot, here we go. So same. I put that into the switch to create a lot of unreachable code that I can then ask my tool to just remove for me. And again, it's sensitive to where you put the cursor. So if these options don't appear for you, try moving the cursor around. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to convert it to an if statement. Go on. And now it's very easy to, if I kept the cursor in the right place, it's very easy to replace with a respective branch. And then I've got this funny looking 3 lines of code, string value, and value is not pulling its weight. So let's inline that. Inline value, it's gone. Now it's just 1 line of code. Great stuff, test still passing. And this is another fairly safe refactoring, remove redundant code. The more I use my tools, the safer I feel the refactoring is. So really trying to optimize for that. Okay, so we're doing really well. We've got rid of both of those repeated switches now, and we've got 2 polymorphic methods instead, and 3 subclasses. So at this point, I could be quite happy and stop, because I've got rid of the main code smell, the repeated switches, but I'm a bit curious about these data members, and I think I've spotted here, looking at the usages of is nailed, it's only being used in the Norwegian blue subclass. So that's also a candidate to get pushed down into the subclass. So there it is, it's used in the subclass and the constructor here. So let's push that down to only the Norwegian blue parrot, because that's the only one that uses it. Now it's warning me that the usage is not going to be updated correctly. Now I've just checked what the usages were, and there were only 2. One in the Norwegian blue and one in the constructor. So I think I'm going to take a risk here and ask it to do it for me anyway, and then see if I can sort that out. Oh look, and it's gone bright red there in the constructor. So that's the line of code that it couldn't sort out for me, this usage. The other one, it's probably managed. But all I need to do here basically is move it from here into, yeah, so there's the data member, it's pushed down to the right place, but it didn't manage to update the constructor. So let's just do that by hand. So I'll move it from here, and put it there instead in the Norwegian Blue constructor and run the tests. Test passing, great. So that, I think actually the compiler would have found that problem for me as well, even if I hadn't had tests. But it's always good to have some tests for that extra layer of security. But now I can see the isNailed argument here to the constructor is grayed out. So let's remove that because it's not being used. And let's see, what did it do now? Yeah, so I still need it here. The African parrot, it's no longer passing it up, but then it doesn't need it there either. So the European parrot and the African parrot, they don't care about isNailed at all. It's gone from there. That's a good simplification. Tests are still passing. So let's make a commit. We have pushed down isNailed. And I've put a capital R on that because there was a bit that I did by hand that the tool didn't manage for me. Okay. So what about these others? Number of coconuts. Let's look at the usages of that. African parrot and the constructor of parrots. That's it. So again, this one needs pushing down. So let's push that one with the tool down into the African parrot. Okay, and again, it's warning me. So there were only 2 usages, so I know what I'm dealing with here. Let's, and it's gone red. So I know what to do here. I'm going to move that down into the African parrot constructor. So I think it's a bit of a shame the tool couldn't do that for me, but anyway, I can fix it. And the tests are passing, but we've got a redundant argument here now. Let's remove that. Just check. There are more redundant arguments. Remove those. There, it's not redundant, but there it is. So let's get rid of that. Okay. That's looking better. Run the tests. Test passing. Okay, let's make a commit. So similar idea. Push down number of coconuts. And that's a capital R because I did parts of it by hand. So let's leave the type for the moment. Look at voltage. Usages of voltage. Oh, right, that's also for the Norwegian Blue Parrot. And if you've seen the Monty Python sketch, you might have an idea why the voltage is relevant. But this is a very silly exercise. So let's move that one down as well. And again, it's warning me it can't do it all perfectly, but I think we know how to deal with that. So let's put that line of code into the correct constructor and run the tests. Yep. And then let's see about removing those redundant parameters. Okay, there's one there and one there and one there. Okay, so let's just check the tests are still passing. I mean, it's basically free to run the tests. I'm just doing that a lot, but probably the compiler would have been as good. So anyway, push down the voltage to Norwegian Blue. Okay. Yeah, that's what I did. It was definitely the voltage. So now I've got just one data member left here, the type, and it's grayed it out for me. It's not actually being used. Now I got rid of those switch statements. I'm just going to remove that unused field, unused parameter. Now I've got an unused constructor. And what have we got here? Yeah, I don't see anything else. Oh no, there we go. A redundant call to the base constructor. Redundant call, yeah, and that's redundant as well. Okay, so we've made a few more simplifications there. And great. So just reviewing this code, I've now, all that's left in the superclass is 3 methods and a couple of abstract things, and the factory method. So these get load factor, where's that used? Oh, that's used in the African parrot. I could push that down, maybe. What about get base speed? Oh, that's used here. Where's that used? That's Norwegian. Yeah, so there is an argument that I could push these down, but I'm not sure I'm that motivated at the moment. Maybe I will be satisfied with that as it stands. So that was a demo of the Parrot Refactoring Kata, and now it's your turn to try it out. I hope you'll be able to refactor as smoothly and safely as I was. If you like this video, please hit like and also take a look around my channel and my playlist, Top Code Katas in particular. Also, you can support me and my work maintaining all these code katas via Patreon. Happy coding!